You are welcome again to your lovely program, Banking Helpdesk, from your station, GVTV. Your lovely program is still Banking Helpdesk. And today we have for you a good episode, Debit-Based Economy. A debit-based economy. Couple of months ago, we treated credit-based economy with its characteristics. Today, we are coming with the opposite of debit-based economy. Now, a debit-based economy means what? A brief definition of a debit-based economy, according to the name, is an economic system where debit is considered a normal part of economic activities. An economic system where debit is considered a normal part of economic activities. How? For you to buy on debit and to buy on credit, that is, without parting with cash, for payment to be made on a later date, is not any kind of news. No, it is allowed officially, but there must be an agreed time of payment. It is officially allowed for people to make transactions without immediate payment for purchase of an item. A further explanation says the incomes of the both corporate and individuals within the economy will not just be sufficient in most cases. Will not just be sufficient no matter how much you earn. Don't forget, a change in income will affect your taste. So if by January you used to earn 500,000 naira per month, immediately the money is doubled, your income is doubled, it's natural. Your taste changes. And in case of a debit-based economy, means you have much more power within you, within your system, financial system. You become bolder to make purchases on credits, because you know by the time money comes, you pay without stress. Mind my language. Pay without stress. See, perhaps when you are earning 500,000 naira, the economy was a kind of credit-based. If the money was enough for you to buy something on credit and pay without stress, and by the second month or the third month, official statement had come from the government, making it possible for you to officially purchase on debit, because the strength of the local currency had been weakened. So it is not a crime when you see more customers, corporate customers, applying for overdraft to make ends meet. It is not a crime when you see individual customers purchasing, even applying to the banks for overdraft. Now, it begins mostly with deliberate government policy to adopt debit financing as a policy directive in a particular year or over a particular period. I take that again. It begins mostly what? Debit-based economy. It begins mostly with deliberate government policy to adopt debit financing as a policy directive in a particular year or over a particular period of time. How? When a budget speech is made by the president to the National Assembly, and from one indication, the budget is by utterance, by budgetary utterance, a deficit budget. It means the whole thing will percolate down the strata of financial management, both private and government. So, since it is now a policy statement, by figures and actions, you have seen that expenditures will be over and above income over a particular financial year. Is going to affect all the aspects of the economy. So that is the first official statement. And the second one will be when the CBN governor will now announce the monetary policy that will drive the budgetary policy. Don't forget, the CBN governor will announce monetary policy. And the Federal Minister of Finance will announce fiscal policies. So the two will coexist with the government policies already announced by the president in the budget speech. They will now give you further directives on how the economy will behave that year to tell you your money will not be enough to make purchases because official weakening of the local currency has been talked about. Another cause is the deliberate devaluation of the local currency as part of the domestic monetary policy in a particular year or over a particular period of time. It's from the government policy. You see, I mentioned a few seconds ago the weakening of the local currency. Yeah. It could be deliberate to respond to a particular economic factors. Yeah. Is when officially Naira is weakened by devaluation, by policy, that Naira is weakened, the purchasing power, a lot has been taken away from Naira. It means what you have been purchasing with 50 Naira before, you now need to purchase with 100 or 150 Naira, like it is happening currently in our economy. It means if you now need 2 bags of rice, which in the past you have been buying with 100,000 Naira, now you must still purchase the same 2 bags of rice, but per bag now is 100,000 Naira. So, if as a matter of familiarization, you still need to collect those 2 bags of rice, it means you are going to pay twice the amount you have been paying before, because Naira had been devalued. Now we have some implications of devaluation of Naira. Loss of comparative purchasing power in forex market. What do we mean by that? If 3 Naira has been exchanging for $1 before, by the time Naira is devalued, a dollar could be around 10 Naira. It's just the simplest way of explaining it. So in forex market, Naira will lose some powers to compete effectively. Another one is loss of purchasing power within the domestic economy. The first one we talked about was in the forex market. Now within domestic economy, the Naira is weakening. The Naira is weakening. Now a Congo of rice that used to go for 500 Naira before, we now need to pay 1,500 Naira. So that's the simplest form of explanation. Another one is period of inflation due to two factors or either of them. That is, as a result of the two factors already talked about before the third one. That is, as a result of inability to compete effectively in foreign market. And when you are buying a foreign product, it involves conversion to foreign currencies. And the naira will not be able to buy what it used to buy before because it cannot easily be converted to foreign currencies. What happens? There will be increase in the price of the foreign product, which means the economy will experience a short supply of such product. And what happens? When demand surpasses supply, it results in inflation. It results in inflation. And again, within the local economy, your inability to purchase all these things the way it used to be before will result in what? And let's take for example, essential commodities. Like in Nigeria, rice is a kind of snacks. Not that we cannot do away with rice, but because it's a kind of food you can quickly prepare, and with little pepper and there will be food on your table. So to stop Nigerians from consuming rice is going to be an Herculean task. Now, what do I mean? Rice is so essential that Nigeria must eat rice. Now, artificial scarcity of rice can occur when rice is so expensive and Nigerians are still asking for rice at the expense of a weak naira. What happens? Automatic inflation. Automatic inflation. Now let's go to another reason for debit-based economy. It can be adopted to tackle persistent era of economic recession. That is, a debit-based economy can be officially adopted to tackle persistent era of economic recession. As in this period of followings, in this period, the followings may play out. High volume of unemployment. High volume of unemployment is a signal that by the time companies and governments cannot break even again, many people will be laid off from their various works. What happens when they can't pay again? And you cut down the overheads. And when we are talking overheads, human beings are always the first target. You cut down the labor. So the works that 10 people used to do, you now force the works on 3 or 4 people, while others are released into the labor market, unemployed. When that happens, you see, those people who have been purchasing with their money in their pocket again, they have stopped earning salaries. So when they want to buy, they buy on credit. On credit. Another one is discouraging interest rates. In a debit-based economy, because the payments are not going to be forthcoming the way it used to be when the economy was on the other side, means interest rates will be high, so high that borrowing too will be officially discouraged. That is, you will have to borrow as a matter of necessity, not just for you to eat garri and rice and sugar. It must be as a result of necessity, utmost necessity, before you would borrow to make ends meet. The next one is unfavorable exchange rate. We don't need to repeat this again. We have actually mentioned it over and over. Another one is frequent layoff of employees due to excessive spending on overheads. I've mentioned this one before. When overheads cannot be favorably financed again, then what happens? You shed weight. Yeah, that's another way of saying it. So you shed weight. And when you shed weight, many more people will be released into the labor market. While looking for employment of another job, they will need to eat. They will need to buy some essential commodities. Some of them will still need to pay their children's school fees. Yeah. In the case of medical needs, need to go to the hospitals. All these ones will be done costing, borrowing. So when an economy is a debit-based economy, it's you will experience all these things. Another good thing to note here is that we have some debit cards, beginning with VEV cards, smart cards, and some special cards made for this particular kind of economy. Yes. Money will be loaded that you don't have to go to the bank. Officially, like in the credit-based economy, where money will be loaded on your card. It also happens in debit-based economy, when money will be loaded on your cards, and when you go and you make purchases, at the point of exhausting the amount given to you, the limit given to you, you will not be able to make further purchases. You will not be able to even do anything again. It means automatically you will have to pay back what you are owing before you can have access to further facilities. So we also have advantages of a debit-based economy. Advantages of debit-based economy. And what? That is, life still continues. Life still goes on. It doesn't mean because it is a debit-based economy that life will come to an end. Money will still be made available to citizens, but now at a high or a higher cost of funds in the name of interest rate. So whether debit-based or credit-based, life still goes on. The major difference is that cost becomes more expensive in a debit-based economy. And while some of what you can afford with ease in a credit-based economy, you might not be able to afford with ease in a debit-based economy. So when you compare the two, it means your economy is healthy when you have credit-based. How? You have excess of funds to be channeled into the deficit side of the economy during credit-based economy. But during debit-based economy, you are not bringing, there's nothing like a fabulous sector, like a surplus sector. No, every sector is dry. Every sector is dry. What usually happens in the debit-based economy is the little one you have around, you scramble for it. Yeah. And it becomes a kind of survivor of the fittest. Like the kind of the governmental system we are practicing. It's so expensive. Yeah. Not only in Nigeria, all over the world. Presidential system of government is expensive, such that you need trillions of naira to run the economy. Because you have money finding its way into so many people's purses and they are not producing anything. So the only one that is available for use within the economy for the purpose of production is what everybody will scramble for. And the ones that have gone into the pockets of the political jobbers and appointees might not quickly come back into the economy. They can be stored for a particular use. So let's take note of this, that whether credit-based or debit-based, life still goes on. Life still goes on. The major difference is that while life is much easier in credit-based, it becomes more challenging in debit-based economy. It is on this note, we are calling it a day on this episode. Until we call your way next time, we are from GVTV, and I'm still your presenter, James Fadipe. Bye for now.